Hi everyone, my name's Rebecca. Welcome back to My Bookish Travels. Today I'm going to be discussing Starters by Lissa Price. This is such a unique dystopia novel. I cannot believe it took me so long to read it. This has been sitting on my shelf, my TBR shelf, for 10 years. Such a long time, but it was so worth it, guys, because this story was probably the best dystopia I have read in years. So, first off, I want to just mention, this is the redone covers, which this is what Enders looks like. I really love it. But the original hardcovers look like these. And I don't know which one I love more because they are both amazing. So good. So good. So much detail went into this world. So basically what we're doing is we're dealing with the distant future. There has been a worldwide pandemic and it has killed all of the middle-aged people, which I now can classify myself as middle-aged, so I probably would have died in this dystopia. Oh, woe is me. But all of the older generation are now living much longer lives, and the younger generation are either having to rely on relatives for support, or they are going to end up with a not so happy future because they cannot legally work to support themselves. Oh, this is interesting because I did not think I would ever say that I read a dystopia that was going to trigger me to feel like how I felt during the COVID-19 pandemic. I worked through it, so I did actually have to go to and from work every single day. And a lot of like the situation where Callie's walking through a deserted street is very similar to my feelings during the pandemic. This story has a really strong female lead, and what happens is, if you guys have ever seen the TV show Dollhouse, it has 2 seasons, or you've ever watched the movie Labyrinth, I feel like this book is like a mashup of these 2 stories. Not for all of the details, but for some of them, and it'll make sense if you've read it. But if you haven't, those are probably a really good way to kind of break it apart and put it together and be like, these make sense. So Callie is our main character. She has a younger brother, and she is relying on help from her friend Michael. And basically, she ends up getting in a situation where she really needs cash, and she goes to this place that basically will rent your body. They will pay you to rent your body and to lend it out to an ender who wants to use it. Now, this is great wordplay. I love the fact that this is a duology, starters, enders. Starters are what the young youth are called, and enders are what the older generation is called. So I feel like there is just so much thought and detail that's gone into this that it's brilliant. I really enjoyed the world building. I think that they did a really good job layering it, especially because we're all familiar with the world. So when you're throwing it into being a pandemic before a pandemic actually happened, I now going through pandemic can be like, yeah, that was very, very well done. Top-notch job on a pandemic world in this situation, because this was written prior to, like, many years before COVID-19. And I really enjoyed the fact that there were shocking times where things got revealed where I was like, I'm sorry, what? I was not expecting that. But in general, I really enjoyed the other characters that our main lead, Callie, comes in contact with. And I think they did a really good job on not having it be too slow of a novel. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it just doesn't work for the pacing. This one, I felt like when I would start reading it, all of a sudden I'd be like 50 pages in and I had only been reading for maybe like 20, 30 minutes. And I was like, I am not a fast reader, but I'm getting through this. Like, it was such a good read. So I know I'm not going into much detail about it, but it's because I do want to speak about some spoilery things. So if you guys have not read Starters, I definitely recommend go and check it out. See what you think about it, because I thought this was really well done and I quite enjoyed it actually. And I'm excited to see what happens in Enders, but I'm also dreading it because you know when you have sequels, bad things sometimes happens to our characters and I'm nervous about that happening. So if you haven't read this, don't watch any further and I will see you in my next video. For those of you that have, I'm going to put this down and we're going to jump right into the spoilers. I do like the fact that I was kind of flip-flopping between love triangle, no love triangle, because at the start you have Michael and then Blake comes into play and then you see that Michael has another person. So obviously you're like, this is not a love triangle. But then you find out that Blake wasn't actually Blake the whole time, which was not expecting that. It was the old man the whole time. And he's got a thing for Callie. Like, what? Excuse me? Dude. You are an old man and Callie is a young girl, so it feels very pedophile-ish. But that's only if he is an old man, because who actually is he? I am actually quite mad at him because he's kept her father hostage this entire time, and I'm so not going to be impressed if in the sequel he actually kills her dad before they can have a full family reunion. I'm going to be borderline ready to destroy the world if that happens in the book, because He's lasted that long, and then that happens? Why? So I know I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm just saying, I know it's already written, but I haven't read it yet. But that is how I'm feeling if her father dies. I am really intrigued by the situation of him being in that house that she was in, and then he leaves for the old man. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to feel, because here's the whole thing. It does feel very pedophile-ish if he is an ender, because he's much older than her, and he was kissing her in Blake's body. Talk about, in this world, having trust issues. Would never get in a relationship with anyone in this story being like, I don't know if you're a pedophile because I'm underage. That would be me. That would be me if I was Callie. I'd be like, I do not know. I don't know if you are you or not. I should have known that Blake, there was something off about him, because he consistently kept trying to touch the back of her head. But the genius of it all, which again, another shocker to me, is the fact that a lot of the workers were going into starters' bodies. They were kind of monitoring Callie. Like, what? That was just weird. And I'm intrigued to see where it goes from here. I was sad when they killed the one, like, genius computery guy, because he genuinely seemed to care about Callie, which makes me think he may have known her father. But it was so sad that he got killed, because it is sad. Because I can't remember if she saw the body or not. And I always remember, do not trust unless you see a body. What else did I want to talk about in this? Because there's so many like key moments where things are like really, really crucial. I did like that they didn't have like a huge influx of like very high tech for like newer technology that we don't have in the world today, but you know, it's supposed to be in the future. They've got it. It didn't feel like it was too far advanced to be, you know, totally unbelievable, but I think that it was manageable amounts. And I felt so bad when they killed the old lady that was, I think her name was Helen, that was inhibiting her body, because she seemed really sweet. And I just felt so bad for her, because she was trying to do something good because of what happened to her granddaughter. But she also was really, really kind for actually doing what she said she was going to provide for Callie and her brother. Now, just kind of like rolling back for a quick second, I like that we did not have stupid characters in this book. And when I say stupid characters, I specifically mean, you know, the characters where like they say something's going to happen and everyone brushes them off. That didn't happen in this one. We had a lot of the older enders that actually listened to what Callie was saying and were like, all right, let's do this. Including, you know, the one lady that was, you know, inhibiting one of the bodies that she kind of befriended and had like this amazing theater in her house. She was like, no, you're right. This is wrong. And I shouldn't be doing this. So yeah, let me help you with this. Like, I loved getting to see characters being like, what you're saying makes sense. Even if I'm not fully on board, I do want to support you in this. And I appreciated that. Now, I was very shocked with Blake, though. I did not expect him to have been, you know, an involuntary possession for the old man. But I was drastically shocked when you found out about his grandfather not actually being part of it. And when he actually willingly shared that information with Callie, like, my heart broke when he was telling it, but I also was immensely creeped out as well. I don't even know what to say. Like, honestly, I just really loved this book. And I want to talk to more people about it, because I feel like it's a lesser known dystopia. And I feel like there was just so much thought and development and so much amazing writing done in it that more people should read it. So I'm going to leave my discussion here. If you guys haven't read Starters, go check it out. Borrow it from the library, buy it, download it on your Kindle, on Audible, somewhere. Support the author, give this book a read, and come back and tell me what you thought of it. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you then. Bye!